Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining our Break for 8 this morning. Just as a recap, we do approximately 8 minutes or less of dementia education, and then we follow it up with at least 8 minutes of a meditation or some kind of relaxation practice for you just to take a break. So over the weekend, I was thinking about the word surrender. And usually this word has negative connotations, right? Because in a way it means someone has been defeated or they're giving up. But I've actually found the act of surrendering to be an extremely and necessary technique during dementia care. So let me tell you a little story to illustrate this. So this is about a client of mine, and I'm going to call her Dawn. And Dawn had just recently made a transition from living at home with her spouse, and she went directly into memory care. She was starting to wander away from home, and on a few occasions, she became lost for a long period of time. And, her family was trying their best to monitor her whereabouts, but occasionally she sort of would slip by all of the safeguards that they had in place, and she would take off and get lost in the city. So this was the reason they made the transition to memory care, and I think it's a common one for many families when, their person starts leaving home, and there's just a large concern about keeping them safe. So anyway, I had arrived at Dawn's memory care community around like 10 o'clock in the morning, like usual, and I was kind of startled to see her just sort of standing right up against the door, and directly behind her was the director of the community, and then along with an aide or two that had been apparently trying to coax Dawn away from the door for a long time. Okay, so I get there, they recognize me, and I'm greeted with two exasperated people and news that Dawn has been trying to escape is the word they used, the building all morning. So here I am in a situation where I don't really know what's been going on. Just right before I arrived, I don't know what they've tried to do to help to convince Dawn to move. I don't know what's going on in her mind, but I for sure know it's very apparent that staff are really annoyed with this situation. And then with a quick glance around the room and at Dawn, I can see that Dawn has put on some jacket that doesn't belong to her, some mystery jacket, and she's also piled up just a bunch of her belongings in the lobby that she's moved there from the room. So she's anticipating leaving the place, and she's got all her stuff collected. It's really common, right? When people first move to a new place, that they their reality is they're leaving. They're not there permanently, right? So in this moment, I decide that any plan I have for my time together with Dawn for the day is just, it's gone out the window. Because she is really fixated on leaving this place. And initially, I'm not quite sure how to help her through this moment. She is becoming quite anxious. But what I do know is that forcing her away from the door, or taking that coat off that she's put on that doesn't belong to her, or gathering up all her stuff and moving it back into her room, that isn't going to go so well. Me forcing my own agenda on Dawn. So at that moment, I decide basically just surrender to dementia, to let go of my desire to control or to fix the so-called problem right away, to appease staff that are angry. So I greet Dawn like I usually do, and she says to me that she's waiting for her friend to take her out for coffee. That's why she's by the door. She's waiting for her friend. But that friend is me. And as I'm telling you this story, I think I've told this story before, so I won't go into all great details, but that friend is me. I usually, when Dawn was living at home, I would take her to coffee among other places. So, but in this moment, I have to tell her, I'm not there here to take you out, but would you mind if I just hang out with you while you're waiting? And she says, okay. And then I suggest, maybe we should just go sit down in those comfy chairs. We can still see the door, but at least we'll, be comfy as we chat. And fortunately, Dawn agrees. So we move to the chairs, we get settled into the moment, and we started working on just a simple craft activity that I had pulled out of my bag. So I just thought, let's just do this while we waited. And I recognize that Dawn is still pretty fixated and a little bit anxious about missing her friend because she keeps looking at the door while we're chatting. So I just continue to surrender to the moment with that dementia is presenting me right now, because there's really nothing I can do to convince her that she doesn't have to go anywhere. So we sit, we chatted, we worked on our craft, and I just waited for my opening. An opening that would, allow me to meet Dawn's needs in the moment, but didn't necessarily involve going outside. So I'm kind of just pausing, I'm stalling a bit. And you know what? That moment came. And the solution to the problem was actually reached by Dawn herself when, she realized that it was really cold outside. We live in Minnesota, and this was the winter. It was really cold outside, and then, she thought it was reasonable of me to suggest, hey, maybe tomorrow would be a better day to go out. So I find that letting go of my own just control issues, right? And surrendering to a dementia moment almost always results in a solution presenting itself that I didn't even anticipate or think of myself. So the next time you encounter some resistance from your person, maybe just try the same thing. Try that strategy of just trying to let go, surrender, allow the scene to play out a little bit. Maybe you ask some questions to converse, to start a conversation going, or you do a little activity. And both of these things kind of can serve as a little interference to distract or redirect them, and definitely to soften any anxiety that they're anticipating, because I think that companionship really goes a long way into helping meet their needs. Okay, so let's go ahead. It's time for that meditation relaxation piece. Let's go ahead and sit back and relax. Put your feet up or keep them down if you want. Just get into a space that's comfy for you, and we are going to begin our meditation for today. Let's begin with some deep breaths in and out as you surrender to this moment of guided relaxation. I'd like you just to bring your attention to the top of your head and picture just a lovely, warm wave of some soothing energy descend upon the top of your head. Allow that relaxation to travel into your forehead, relaxing the tiny muscles between your eyebrows, down into your cheeks as they relax. Unclench your jaw or any tight muscles in your face. And envision this relaxing energy passing down through your throat, through your neck muscles. Allow your shoulders to drop and sink. Now the relaxing wave travels down through your chest to your rib cage, your abdomen. Send a few breaths of relaxation to your abdomen, to your stomach area, just to untighten that spot where we hold a lot of tension. Now picture that wave of relaxing energy moving down to your pelvis, through your thighs, knees, circling your calves and massaging them, traveling down to your ankles, your heels, and now to the soles of your feet. As that relaxation passes out through your toes, just send a few cleansing breaths in and out. And the next inhale, feel that breath come up from your toes, sending that air through your legs, up along your spine, and to the top of your head. And then when you exhale, exhaling down in the reverse direction. So inhaling up through your toes, exhaling down, down, down from the top of your head, out your toes again. Take a few more breaths right here, just like this. If you sense any thoughts creeping in, just send them on their way, knowing you can return to them another time. Surrender yourself to this moment of deep relaxation, a moment you undoubtedly deserve. When we loosen our grip on trying to fix something or control another person, the act of letting go can instantly release tension in ourselves and in the area and even in other people that surround us. So continue breathing, just focusing on releasing tension, letting go of any tension, and do a quick body scan. If you notice a body part feeling tight, just send a few breaths to that area. Surrender is not a sign of defeat. Surrender is often a sign of intelligence and recognition that we can't change something or someone. And the space once occupied by tightness and tension, when we surrender, can relax and open to allowing new information to enter that helps us recognize things we may not have noticed before. Surrendering also can allow a tense dementia moment to play out and dissipate with very little intervention from us. So let's just allow words like surrender, letting go, or giving up to be signs not of defeat, but of wisdom, experience, and expertise. Because surrendering to sidestep a conflict or avoid a fight in dementia care is often the best way forward. So as you continue to let go and release any tension, let's just take a few more breaths here up through your feet to the top of your head and then back down again, just allowing any last bit of tightness to crack and crumble away. And I'm going to just let the music play out a little bit longer, and I'll see you next time. You've got this.